Hello and welcome. My name is Carol Ibbotson. I'm a knitwear designer, tech editor, and workshop trainer. And I would like to ask you a question. Do you ever wish you could make a profitable career out of knitting? Maybe you have already tried to earn money from your knitting passion using some of the traditional ways, such as designing and selling your own patterns, maybe undertaking knitting commissions and knitting for other people, getting patterns published in magazines, maybe writing a blog or even a book, maybe making instructional videos on YouTube or social media, and maybe teaching knitting workshops. I'm going to let you in on a secret. There is another way. Now, don't get me wrong, many people have created very successful businesses in these areas. I know that. But I also know that none of these quite work for me, and I have tried most of them. Do you feel the same way? My presentation is therefore entitled The Ultimate Way to Build Your Own Business Based on Your Knitting or Crochet Hobby Without Selling Products or Patterns. That's quite a statement, don't you think? So why not sit back and let me explain how I achieved this and how you can too. I will be answering some questions I'm often asked relating to the little known world of tech editing. For now, think of that as pattern checking. I'm going to be discussing how a number of my students have created successful careers in this field and how there is a big demand out there for tech editors. I am often asked a number of questions. Are tech editors in demand? What is a tech editor? What skills are required to become one? And how can I become a tech editor? Well, the first question, are tech editors in demand? I'm going to say absolutely, without a doubt. I have never been out of work since I started. And since the pandemic, more designers are springing up who need their patterns checking. Let's look at some recent stats from yarnpond.com, which is a site where designers, tech editors, and pattern testers can find out more about each other. Here's some quick stats. So, at the time of recording, there were 18,938 testers registered on YarnPond, 203 registered tech editors, 1,386 registered designers, and a few other stats there as well. Now, if you do a little bit of maths, that means that there are almost 7 designers for each tech editor, and that's on just one site. And bearing in mind that each designer usually writes several patterns, that is a big demand. And also, individual designers aren't the only clients you can have. There are also magazines, yarn companies, and book publishers. Anyone who needs their pattern checked thoroughly. So what is a tech editor? I wonder if you have ever heard the term. Or maybe you have already and are curious to know what they do. A tech editor checks a pattern from top to bottom in minute detail. As mentioned, your clients can be designers, yarn companies, magazines, and book publishers. So here are some things that tech editors check for. First of all, they will make sure that the pattern works mathematically and that all the numbers are correct for all sizes. They make sure the pattern will produce the item as shown and it will turn out in the correct sizes as given in the pattern. They check all written text is grammatically correct and clear. They check any charts and any schematics and make sure they match the detailed instructions given in the pattern. They may need to check against a style sheet, if there is one, and make sure the pattern styling and formatting is consistent throughout. For example, are repeats, such as brackets and asterisks, used in a consistent way? They will check that increases and decreases have been worked consistently. For example, on a garment, do the armhole decreases match across the front and the back? Because if they don't, it's not going to give a very good fit. Are all the instructions clearly explained and make sense for the difficulty level of the pattern, if that's given? And is the order that the sections are to be worked sensible? A tech editor would make sure that nothing is missing and that everything that actually is included is needed. For example, in the abbreviations section, if there's an abbreviation that's not actually used, should it be there? They will make sure all materials are included, very important, and also that the finish instructions are complete. They may also need to give advice on making a pattern more concise if that's needed. For example, if the pattern is being published in a magazine where space can be tight, can any sections be referred back to in later instructions to save writing them out twice? Can any particular rows be combined in groups and then repeated? And so on. Now, there are a number of other things that a tech editor does, but that's enough for now. To become a tech editor, what skills are required? Well, not every tech editor is at the same level of knowledge. You can become a tech editor and concentrate on simpler patterns or techniques at the start. It's completely up to you. You are in control of the work that you take on. But here are some core skills. You should be a reasonably experienced knitter or crocheter who understands and can follow most patterns. You do not need to know all the techniques that are out there. You can learn those later. You should have a good attention to detail. For example, do you spot mistakes in things like road signs, magazines, books, online? I do it all the time. They just jump out at me. You should understand the basics of text-based software such as either Microsoft Word or Google Docs, as well as understanding what PDFs look like and how to comment on them. You should be happy using basic maths skills. You really don't have to be a genius, but you need to be comfortable with arithmetic. Even if that means using a calculator, that's not a problem. But you may need to deal with multiple sets of numbers at the same time for a garment. So an understanding of spreadsheets can really help. It's not completely essential though. Pen and paper is fine, and it's what I used when I started out. You should have an analytical mind and be able to apply shaping concepts to an item without actually making it. The tech editor does not make the item being checked. You may work a small section of a pattern to check the stitch pattern matches the image, but that's all. It's a pattern tester that makes the item, not the tech editor. Now, how do I know all this? Well, I have over 12 years experience working as a technical editor for many clients, and I have been teaching others how to become tech editors for the last 3 years. I am passionate about getting more knitters and crocheters, if that is a word, involved in this little known sector of the industry. I really want to encourage more people to turn their yarn hobby into a profitable business. That's what I did, and several of my students have done that too. So how can you become a tech editor? Well, I can help you. I run live introductory tech editing workshops via Zoom 3 times a year, both for knitting and crochet. Now, I have designed these workshops specifically to give you an insight into the world of tech editing, to find out whether it's something you would like to do and whether you have an aptitude for it. I really don't want people to pay for a full course before they know whether they enjoy the work. And that's what these introductory workshops are for. After that workshop, if you do want to take things further, then I run comprehensive courses covering the whole world of tech editing, where I set 10 assignments and I mark them individually. I don't just send you a standard solution. I mark the points that you have picked up and discuss them with you. Now that's unique. Nobody else is doing that. As part of the full course, I also cover how to get set up in business, how to price your work, how to estimate how long things are going to take, how to plan what you need to do, how to get clients, very important, and how to use social media to promote your business. So why not join me and my team on a tech editing workshop? You will have great fun as well as learning. A little aside. Are you a designer? I'm both a designer and a tech editor, and part of my mission is to help designers understand the benefits of having their patterns tech edited. Think about it. How many times have you bought a pattern and it had errors? Would you buy from that designer again? Maybe not. So, if you are a designer, my tech editing workshops can also help you with your pattern writing skills and good practice. One more thing about designing. You may have wondered how designers work out multiple garment sizes if they're writing a pattern to be size inclusive. Have you ever wondered about that? Perhaps you would like to create patterns for garments but don't know how to make them size inclusive. Now, the process of working out all the measurements for multiple sizes is known as grading. As part of the tech editing courses, I also offer students the chance to learn how to grade garments for multiple sizes and obtain a good fit for each. A little bit more detail about what grading is. It is the process of coming up with all the various size information needed for a multiple sized garment pattern based on a sample size. This is particularly useful for the designers amongst you, but it is also very useful extra service that you can offer as a tech editor for designers who are unsure about how to grade their own patterns. So it's another string to your bow. How do I know how to grade? Well, I am a designer, but more than that, I am actually a pattern writer for other designers and yarn companies. Sorry, the secret's out, folks. Often designers do not write their own patterns. They use a pattern writer. And so I have a lot of experience with grading. I have found before that grading courses can be rather involved, and having taken some myself, I've found that they don't always give you the practical advice you need to get started. So that's what I aim for with my sessions on grading, to get you up and running quickly. In those sessions, we work through a real grading exercise, concentrating on the practicalities, not just the theory. We use a sample specification and a given sample size to create all the measurements needed for up to 9 sizes. We then translate these measurements into stitch and row information ready to write the pattern. So if that interests you, that's something else we can talk about. You may ask me, are your workshops any good? Well, a good way to judge that is to see what my previous students have said. Many of them are now working full-time as tech editors after taking my workshop and my full course and implementing the strategies I gave them to create and build their business and to get clients. Here's what some of my students has said. Top left, Annie. Sorry I missed the last live session today. It's been so lovely meeting you all, and thank you to Carol and Paula for such a fabulous course. Wishing lots of luck and every success to all of you who have signed up for the full course. Aisling Downey on the right says, that was a great class. I've just finished the quiz and I misread one, knit one as an M1, so I'm a little annoyed. It does go to show you need to take your time. Super interesting stuff. Delighted I signed up. This is quite a long one on the top left, so I'll start halfway down with Michelle. I have thoroughly enjoyed the workshop so far, and I really do love this detailed analytical type of work, as well as the aspect of gently and kindly helping people or designers to produce their best product. And though I haven't had to use my mathematical brain too intensely the last few years, I do feel I have an aptitude for it and have enjoyed getting a mental workout. I have signed up for the main course and very much looking forward to delving deeper into the world of tech editing, as well as getting to know all of you a bit better. Louise is the top right. Now, she was on a crochet workshop. I have just loved doing this course, so thank you, Carol. Your passion for the subject just shines through. I gave up my job as a TA in December 2019 because I knew I couldn't spend the rest of my working life pushing round pegs into square holes. I planned to take a few months to consider my next step, started teaching crochet, and then the pandemic hit and everything was cancelled. Crochet is the only thing I've ever been properly interested in truly studying and knowing everything about. So this could be a way into working in the industry, and doing the course has been fantastic after so long just doing my own thing. I can't wait for the next course to start on the 1st. Megan at the bottom here. Yesterday I did the quiz, got 90%, woke up this morning feeling enthusiastic, retook the quiz with a fresh head and scored 100%. Looking forward to today's class. Now, Megan is now a full-time tech editor. She now tech edits both knitting and crochet. Tracy Driver, so inspired after today's session. I believe in doors opening at the right time. After a difficult 15 months of being unfit for work, I can finally see a way of working from home that I'd get something from without putting pressure on my crochet design side hustle. Just shaking out the piggy bank. Thank you, Carol Ibbotson, for your passion. It really is infectious. So a few here from the Facebook group that we run for every session. Great session today. I've loved learning new ways of seeing the other side of knitting. Thank you for yet another great session. My library of knitting books and textbooks is huge, but I can always find an excuse to add another one. Thanks for another great session. You keep catching me out with a sneaky quiz question, though, Carol. I definitely need to slow down and read it more than once. And at the bottom on the right here, we've got Louise. This year is a turning point to make positive life changes for me, and setting up as a tech editor is a priority. I'm looking forward to the Profitable Knitter course and will do as many as I can live. Now, Louise has quite a stressful job in the NHS working in the labs, and she was doing very long hours. She also has a fairly young family. So she wanted to do tech editing and do more tech editing and cut down her hours at the NHS. And now she's managed to do that. So she's achieved her goals. Now, this one might make me cry. This is from Ashley. Now, Ashley is based in Canada, and she sent me a Facebook message, private message, and I asked her if I could share it with you. So here we go. Hi, Carol. I know you are very busy, but I just wanted to reach out and let you know how much I have enjoyed the course and how much hope it has given me. My current day job is in the court's criminal justice sector. I am constantly surrounded by negativity and evilness, quite frankly. I have been looking for a way out for years, but nothing has really called to me until now. Knitting has always been an escape for me. To potentially be able to leave the stress and the psychological damage of the courts behind and take a leap into the knitting industry is so exciting, yet terrifying at the same time. You're not only teaching skills, you are also giving people a chance for a much needed change and an opportunity for independence. Thank you. Wow. And that's what I really want for people. I want to be able to give them a transformation in their lives. And that's what I did for Ashley. I really hope you can join me on my Introduction to Tech Editing workshop. Why not make a change in your life, just as Louise, Ashley, Tracy, and many others have done? And I would love to meet you soon. Take care and happy crafting.